Everybody, welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. The 1M1M program is to help $1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond, build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. And this is our 185th roundtable. And we have a special guest today from IBA, Pakistan. We're excited. This is the first time we're going to be hearing from entrepreneurs in Pakistan. We hear from entrepreneurs from all corners of the world, and we are delighted to know what's happening in Pakistan. Recorded. You will have the recording available later on the blog as well as on our YouTube channel. If you are live tweeting the show, please use hashtag 1M and join us on Twitter at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. Those are the two channels through which we do our tweeting and we do tweeting. Our YouTube channel is at 1M1M Roundtable. What you will see are links of pretty previous roundtables, so there you'll get a very good view of what's happening at different roundtables if you keep track, subscribe to the YouTube channel and keep track of it. And we'll also find other things like 1M1M FAQs, and there are some very fun entrepreneur cartoons. Of course, they're not funny to anybody other than entrepreneurs, but they are funny to entrepreneurs. Okay, so after we finish the pitch slides, we're going to have a series of pitches. If you have time, we're going to go about 90 minutes for this session. And if there, after the slides, presentations, you can also call into the line. A number to call in is 650-479-3208. Country code is 1, and the access code is 663-923-703. Now, the instruction for that is please let me know in the chat, in public chat, that your chat to send to all participants to work with it in the mode. You put your computer on mute. And until I ask for you, keep the phone mute as well, because there's all sorts of echo problems that crop up. So, Maureen, tell me who's going first. Arun Virappan is going to go first. Okay, let's go to Arun Virappan. Let's jump around a bit because some people have had difficulty dialing in.
Hi, Sramana. This is Arnachalam. You can call me Arun. I would like to congratulate you for this 1M by 1M opportunity. And I'm just more excited to present to a partner of this particular 1M by 1M. Yep. So, college grads were just 2 years back. Now we have started a new company, exclusively in wireless solutions. The function slide solution is different, so it's a little bit funky over here. So, come with the particular slides. Okay, so about us is like Daffy Labs. As a product center, on only 3 areas: industrial and home automations. Those devices like convenience and remote purposes. This can be as a part of our organization. And end experience is like any device which in real life reality come into reality of the world. Produce it. And is most of the countries are suffering out of renewable resources and non-renewable resources. We are part of it. Energy conservation. Slide. So, since we are in industrial and home automation, we come across many problems. So, the main area what I'm trying to highlight this here. People with a light smartphone has no suitable solution for smart home automation system. Smartphones which is coming up in market as a whole, these people try something new in market. And the second factor is going to be a cost factor where the whole product was existing, but the is too costly.
Out.
The product, the next slide. The bulb.
Are you talking about the Indian market?
The Indian market.
Chennai, yes?
Yeah, Chennai.
Okay.
So this is relevant. This is where it puts all into a single one. So Wi-Fi enable, which is going to be as a part of a modular home automation system, and give you a rich experience of ambient presence in your life. The lifespan of 15 years, which considered more for a normal bulb. And according to the Indian market, is going to be so up to 99 rupees in electricity bill per month.
And how it's going to cost?
In the slides, in the following slides, it is costing around $49 per bulb. Its lifespan is going to be around 15 years. Another representing it for a normal lifespan.
No time believe anyone in India to buy a $49 bulb.
Okay, so there are reasons. This is a factor that we come across. So the home automation product exists. For example, if you're a business has people and people with ready to spend around 1 to 2 crores or something for the investment in automation. People like smartphone, right? They do not have much opportunity to get a home automation system or a modular home automation system. Where we come into picture. So this is a validity reason for $49. See, each and every month, if it's going to have 15 years of lifespan, it's going to reduce around 4,000 to 5,000 rupees in your electricity bill.
Have you talked to people in your segment?
We have spoke to people, and this
People have you talked to? How many consumers have you talked to test?
We have sell this particular product around 100 numbers. People want a modular system. Yep.
Sold the product to 100 people?
Yes.
Okay.
The overall lifespan, right, is going to reduce your electricity bill. And this is for a bulb of 10. If your house is going to be lighted with 20 to 30 bulbs constantly, then it's going to reduce your bill for 15 years. Between the bulb cost and this goes.
Okay.
Next one. So people now they are moving towards this particular LED concept because of power consumption, and moreover in Chennai, problem is with electricity. So people are moving to LED solutions. So which where we are pitching into for a smart home bulb. Next.
And what in your getting this product to market? So you've sold to hundreds consumers. What has been involved in
as a medium of marketing, you're asking? Marketing or some other way?
Well, both. The question is, have you built product? What's involved in getting the product to market? And then what's involved in identifying who's willing to buy the products, and how are you reaching those consumers who are ready to buy this product? How are you marketing them?
We companies who is doing full home automation system. Talk to those people and we talk to engineers who is building their new homes, and architects who is to design their home in a big way. So people, and those are people where they are interested in the marketing. For example, if an engineer want to sell a home in Chennai, he put an ad in his television stating that this particular home is or with this particular bulb.
100 consumers who have bought your product. These home automation companies or the engineers and architects?
No, architects.
You've got engineers and architects?
Yes.
Okay.
So
for go-to-market strategies, you're going with high engineers and architects working on high-end homes?
Yeah. We talk them for a modular system also, because engineers who is doing for other people is going to be targeting for certain middle class people also. So our market segment is those areas, people who's having a nice smartphone, who does this particular thing to be up in their home. We take it to market. Okay, and this product is first of its kind because of its low cost, and which is similar to this one, like Philips has introduced with you. These bulbs cost you around $200. So major advantage for us. Some other company is selling for 3 bulbs, which we test it in the first try. For the fix is coming with $89 bulb. Okay, so we just want to. I just have in my question segment like expand this particular thing. Really, market potential is there across globe, and how to approach people, what is other target audience?
How many engineers and architects are there that are catering to high-end homes in India?
In India, it's going to be 100 is a number.
About?
Yeah, about hundreds.
And how many homes of this kind are being built? Like 100 architects, the segment talking about how many homes are each of them building per year?
They would be building around 30,000 to 40,000.
40,000?
30,000, yes, total.
At least your penetration market.
Yeah, market.
And you've only sold like 100 of these bulbs, so you're going to need to penetrate. Now, I don't think you should do anything other than penetrate that market and get a feel for whether you really have opportunity in that market or not.
So, other than penetration, is there any other way? I mean, I can take to the market, or directly selling a part as a contract manufacturers or something?
You have to design this into these homes, and some other, you're going to have to convince some set of early adopters, which it seems to have found a set of adopters, these engineers and architects, to be willing to class of engineers and architects working on a certain class of homes are willing to design these in. And that's the segment that is going to get you into the market. To basically put yourself in that market and learn a lot about what's happening in that market. Like, for example, are designers and architects who are involved in building these homes, are they then advertising the savings of the home?
Okay.
You become part of a positioning point. How these architects and engineers are positioning.
Okay.
That would be interesting. The part of a strategic position of those designers and architects, and then you you automatically get designed into every single home. So what you are going to need to look for is to convince these architects and engineers to sell an energy conscious home or a green home, whatever way they are kind of selling their designs or their architectures, and their ability to deliver on that value proposition is using your bulbs.
Okay. Okay.
That's your first piece of strategy, and you need to basically penetrate. If there are only about 100 engineering architecture firms that are working in this segment, then the first business is that you need to contact every one of them and make sure that you familiarize every one of them about your value proposition and starting designed into every single home that they build. And likely for the next 84 months, you will be doing nothing other than that.
Okay. Yeah, is the 100 numbers is only in Chennai. It's not in India, it's only in Chennai.
Gone to the other parts of India yet?
Yes. Yeah.
The architects and engineers are only in Chennai?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. So the mission was on an all-India basis. What's the situation?
No. This is only in India. And if it's going to be in Bangalore, the number of architects and engineers will be more.
Yeah. That's fine, but that is a good segment. You know, these architects and engineers and also green energy savings, these are very popular points right now, especially in that category that you're going after.
And it's connected to your mobile also.
Sorry?
It's connected to mobile phones, by smartphones, and it is multicolored also.
That's a part, that's a feature.
Got it.
Proposition why they're why they're engineering all this into the designs is because of the energy savings, right? The cost you described of how much energy it saves over time.
Okay.
That's going to pay $49. Motor control is a feature.
Okay.
Right? The issue here is that you are handling energy savings. That you're going to need to tell, and that's kind of that relationship you need to create with these architects and engineers all over India. You can 100 engineers and architects in Chennai and penetrate Chennai deeply. Other cities, but the point is you're going to need to really deeply become a part of the solution that the architects and engineers automatically
Build on it.
Yeah, that you are part of the solution and that they are building energy efficient homes and are part of the that enable energy efficient homes.
One more question. It's like we stopped because the proper fund to us. Why we are not moving to 1,000 numbers or something. So is it and what kind of fundable it is possible?
Conceivably, it is fundable, but what is the defensibility? Is it very easy to replicate? What technology are you using? If it's a easy to replicate thing, then it's not fundable. If that's not, it's not fundable. I don't know I haven't seen any of that analysis. You have not presented any of that, so it's hard for me to gauge whether it's fundable or not.
Sure. Okay. That's what I have for the day.
Have a feedback in the public chat from John. This is consider talking with large lighting control manufacturer, not light bulb manufacturer, lighting control manufacturer, like Neutron.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for them. Sure, you're looking already, but worth talking to them. Folks, all of you who are in the audience and want to thoughts and ideas about the presentations you're looking for, please feel free to use the chat to share your ideas and present. Definitely, you can get feedback from the audience as well in the public chat. folks who are in the room, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the public chat. This is also a very good networking forum. People generally are coming from different parts of the world, and the business networking that happens in the public chat normally, and we very much encourage you to take advantage of that. Well, thank you. Who is going next? Rasul should be next. His slides are third in the deck. All right, let's go back to Rasul. Is that Rasul? Yes, there we go.
Yeah. This is Rasul Baksh. No, Rasul.
Go ahead.
I'm Rasul from Takhar Institute of Business Administration, Pakistan.
Okay.
Business with my three members, that is Hina Shafiq, Sanjay Kumar, and Ikra Latif. Our business is actually to produce the silk cocoons from the silkworms. That is the seed that is required for this process is purchased from Lahore, that is city of Pakistan, from China. So what we are doing is we are providing all the inputs to the farmers of villages in Pakistan, where they nurture the worms in their huts, their houses. So in 5 days they produce the silk cocoons. They hand over to the silk huts. I mean, to us, marketed price 2,500 per kg. Now, what actually we are doing is we are sharing the proportion of the income to the. So then, one household can earn 50 to 60,000 rupees from this, and they have even a penny as an investment in their business. Okay, that we identified is in Pakistan we see most of the cocoons produced have low yield. I mean, the thread that is made from those cocoons is 600 meters per cocoon. Also have low durability. I mean, during the reeling process, the thread breaks up or tears up into two pieces. So, for not make so many designs, you cannot, have the cloth. They have longer life. So this is secondly inefficient production system. The product is very low. That's 25 kg per packet. The reason for that is the insufficient usage of urea to the trees, because silkworm eat only mulberry leaves. So mulberry requires urea. Plantation and etc. That they use of the packets to produce the cocoons. I mean, most of the worms die because of infections and other things, because of improper care. So, not one of the cause of lower productivity. And second, global demand of silk. Most of the people, especially in countries like to wear the traditional, grade of silk, and they like some of earrings that are made of silk. So in this way, one of the research suggests that demand of silk is increasing as 5% per annum. So one of the things that we identified and we try to work on it. Second, present scenario in Pakistan, 25% of total demand unmet. So it's around 200 tons of raw silk being unmet. Second, 30% of the demand is imported from India and China. Most of the silk is imported from China, because both in China are about 70% of the silk producers in the world. Fourth thing that identified, in fact, it's cocoon in the supply chain. There's one middleman that we call cocoon traders. They do nothing. They purchase the cocoons from the producers, audit, and sell to the dealers, thread makers. So, putting themselves forcefully, they can make the profit of 150 to 300 rupees. So that's significant, because they have nothing to do in the supply chain. Next, please. Customers are small cloth manufacturers who can make the cloth from thread. We can sell them cocoons. They convert them into thread, and they make the cloth and sell into the market. Second are thread makers. Them is in Pakistan who can make the thread, and they convert the thread. Cocoons into the thread. Third, thread traders. They are also one of the category of thread makers. They convert the cocoons into the thread, and they again trade the thread. They don't make the cloth out of them. Now, market potential in Pakistan, it's very huge, as I already mentioned. We have 1,000 tons of silk, total potential, from which 300 tons are being produced domestically, which are in lower quality, as I already mentioned. Secondly, 350 tons, which is 40% of total demand, is imported from China. 24% of demand is Islam, which we are trying to firstly procure. Then we will move to reduce the imports of Pakistan so that economical development could be helped. Next slide. Our solution is pretty simple. I compare our business with that of market. So I mentioned 600 meters of thread per cocoon. So what we are offering is 900 meters thread per cocoon. So this difference is because they're using the quality seed from China. While system does not use quality seed, they are producing domestically and producing the cocoons with the same seed. The difference is because we are reforming the supply chain. We are modifying the supply chain. We are using the cocoon traders, so the work charged by those people now can be reduced or can be benefited or shared with the customers. So in this we can sell a product with the same quality at 35 rupees per kg. Now the third is productivity. The productivity in India and Pakistan is about 40 to 45 of cocoons per packet. So while in Pakistan we have just 25 kg per packet. The reason I already mentioned, insufficient usage of urea, impact of the worms, and insufficient usage of pesticides that could protect the worms from the infection. So we're trying to reach at the productivity that is experienced or practiced in the countries like India and China. Next slide, please. Modifying the supply chain. In supply chain, they have still cocoon in the middle. So the cocoon and the reeling businesses. So they have no significant role in the supply chain. So if they are eliminated, you have a margin of 300 rupees, which you can give to the customers as their benefit. So what we are doing, still cuts, the cocoon traders from the supply chain. So whatever cocoon producing, we sell them to the reelers. So we can reduce price by 300 rupees. It's a very significant margin. Now, the model through which we are earning and sharing with the farmers. We are purchasing seed from seed supply, which is that imports that seed from China. Now, as I mentioned, that cocoons have only one food intake, that is mulberry leaves. So we are taking in, we produce we plant the mulberry trees in that village and produce the leaves. So, worms could be fed. So leaves and silkworms are fed to the farmers by silk hut. So what farmers have to do, they have to nurture worm by feeding the leaves. Management with the time passage as it is required to the worms. So they take care of it, and within 40 days they convert into the cocoon, which is silk hut. What we get from our farmers are from the villages. We send in the market to the thread mills and all other customers which I already mentioned. So sell the cocoons at price 2,500 rupees per kg, while we are with the farmers as 10% of the total price, because expenses are also to be borne by the silk hut. We share 500 rupees per kg of the product. Whatever cocoons they produce, they can get 500 rupees per kg. Say that 60,000 rupees, up to 60,000 Pakistan rupees gained by farmers. And do this business, and actually they are doing. Now, our market strategy brochures, we distribute different brochures to our customers. We tell them about our marketing, about the features of our product and different things we are offering to them, lower price, etc. Agents, marketing agents who meet our customers directly, they'll specify our product, they'll tell them how our product is different from others and how they can be benefited. The third is website. We have a website through which we tell them, we can inform them, communicate that different features we have to a product or what new we are offering to the customers. have two main risks, natural disasters, because the worms are very prone to the climate condition. If it varies, it changes significantly, so worm can die. It can't bear high cold. It can't very much warm. So in this, we have to keep the temperature in the limits that is born. It is very specific for the worms, or that is can be borne by the worms. So if in case there is any natural disaster, we cannot sustain them because no option to natural disasters.
And who bear the risk? You bear the risk. Who's gonna? I mean, this is gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Who absorbs the risk of that?
It is to be borne by we people, silk huts.
I see.
It says near about zero risk. What they have to do is they have to just nurture the worms through proper training that we provide them, and we have training experience of 30 years in this field. So another infection in worm can be protected by wearing the gloves, the process of nurturing the worms.
Okay.
Next slide, please. So financials that we are experiencing. So in the first year, 195,000, 10,50,000 rupees as our income. So our initial investment is 8,00,000 rupees, 800,000 rupees, and we are earning gross profit margin of 45%. And its gross profit margin also increases significantly with the passage of time because we are increasing in terms of productivity and plus we are expanding the level of production. Next, please.
Farmers are working with you right now.
We are working with 5 homes, so households. So one household is dealing with 4. Within 2 seasons, they can produce the cocoons from 4 packets. So means one packet yields 20 kg of cocoons. So one farm can produce 100 kg of cocoons. So all producing 500 kg of cocoons. So if 500 with 2,500, you will get the overall sales of silk.
How many customers do you have who are buying these?
Actually, not the ones who can purchase it very little quantity. Purchasers. So we have 50 to 60 specific customers whom we know, whom we contacted. So 50 to 60 customers can purchase up to 16,000 kgs of the. So it's producing 500 kg. So we have a lot to produce so that could be procured. So we are in the process to expand it. We are in the process to produce more, in the process to expand the business in more villages.
The investment that you estimate is going to be required to build the kinds of numbers you're showing here. Do you have that cash?
As I already mentioned, 4 members in the business. So it's equally being distributed by all the members. There's 200,000 rupees per member. So all the profits are to be distributed equally. All are to be distributed equally, and each and everything is to be shared equally. So we don't require any investment further. So these benefits that we offer, we can prosper the society, social benefits that our women. I mean, this process is very simple that even a woman can do it at their home. In Pakistan, we see most of the women, finding the employment opportunity. Though they are literate, so they find it very difficult to find work from which they can make their living. So we are in this wonderful opportunity from where they can make their living. Secondly, prosperity. We are planning to expand this to many villages. So once we are established after 5 years from our earnings, we will take a project. Just like we'll try to work on education, we'll try to work on health care in the different villages. So in this week, we'll try to bring the rural prosperity in different villages of Pakistan. This is one of the we are looking for. Thirdly, employment. So this is one of the things that we are working on, that within 10 we'll be able to give employment to the 500 families. So this is near about 20 villages in Pakistan. So we'll be expanding to the 20 villages of Pakistan. Economic data also, they increase the production so that imports could be reduced, so domestic production could be increased, and again we can sustain our own self-demand so that we may not go we do in other countries and we are offering the quality at very reasonable price that is lower than the market. So we have customers this benefit and economic benefit. There are also environmental benefit. I actually forgot to mention that during the process of nurturing, there is left. So that is left during the process of nurturing can be sold as feed of chicken and fish. So this was sold at 1,200 rupees per 40 kg. So that's sourced for farmers to earn. I mean, like the waste, and they can sold cumulatively. So it has two. One is money. Second, waste is being disposed properly. So it doesn't create any pollution in the environment. Slightly. So if you have anything to ask, I'll share.
I like the thoroughness of how you've kind of through all the different pieces of the production process. You seem to really know. Are you from this industry? Have you been in the silk business before?
I'm doing BBA from Sakhar Institute of Business Administration. So I'm in the process of completing my degree. Once I'm finished with with my members Sanjay, Hina, and Ikra, will do this business, inshallah.
But what about the silk business? Is your family in the silk business?
3 members of our team are from agri business, and secondly, a friend of my father who has worked in this field for 35 years. So he shared this knowledge with me, and we are working with that guy. Yes.
Very good. I think it's an excellent analysis of the business. So you will learn a lot once you actually get out there and start doing serious amounts of business. And I think there is the thing that you have to watch is you have put it on one of the slides is the risk factor, right? Because this agri businesses and this kind of business in general has a natural risk, right? And how you manage that risk, how you modulate that risk is going to drive your financials in a big way. So if you start doing this any decent scale, you will have to learn to manage these risks. But so far, your analysis of the business seems very interesting.
Right. Okay, I want to ask, can we expand this business to the other countries? I mean, what are the possibilities?
Right, you shouldn't do anything. First, get the business validated, get business going in Pakistan, and get it to a certain level so that you really understand the business. You understand the business on paper, and you understand the business at a logical level. But for any entrepreneur, there is which is to really understand the business at a logical and paper level. It's another thing to actually do the business, actually being in the market. Details and so many nuances that you will learn once you actually go to the business and start executing on it. Anything else, no other market, no country, nothing. You just figure out the first 20 villages and the families that you're going to be working with and getting enough. And how do you get from 20 families to 50 families to 100 families producing for you and catering to the 20, 50, 100 customers that you're going to be working with. Just get that fully functional over the next 24 months. You just execute on the base presented, and you will know a lot. You're going to learn a lot just by doing that. Don't worry about anything else for the moment. Okay? See, we lost the connection. Next. To go, but you have not dialed into the call. So unless you dial into the call, we can't have you present. Ali begin. You see you in the room. These are the 5th set of slides on the slide, and Maureen tells me that you need to dial into the teleconference. Is that dialed into the teleconference? questions from you? Two other people from Pakistan whose slides we have, but who are having dial-in problems. So unless if you are planning to call into the teleconference, otherwise move on.
Time, maybe if you bring up Ali's slides, and I'll switch him to attendee so he can hear that. And I've sent him so many messages. Oh, he just called in. Hi, Ali. I'll go on mute.
How are you?
Hi.
Yeah. Okay.
So that shouldn't be so difficult.
Yeah.
What is play? Or how does deal, play online deal? What's the name? Play deal, I guess, right?
Yes. I would like to meet you today to talk about a new business model for group.
This is your audio level is very, very low.
I would like this opportunity today to talk about a new business model for group buying in daily deal industry. In a time-sensitive reverse deal business model from our competitors. Business model profitable for merge over the long term if you slide. Let me ask this question by having a closer look at daily deal market status. Right now, merchants are not happy because of high charging rate and visit by customers. Customers are happy too. They are complaining about lack of diversity and no control over the deal features, and they share the purchase experience with their friends. Next step. Deals are not coming back to run a deal again, and customers are turned into only deal seekers, which makes the daily deal business model unsustainable. Play Deal is a C2B platform to fill business off-peak hours with customers to break even the static costs and expose brands. That discount is a great motivation to attract customers to merchants. We are using discount to bring customers with off-peak hours as well. Then we can say both customer and merchant are happy. Customer can save money through visiting a store in off-peak hours, and merchant can cover their costs by these customers. Next slide. Different type customers, all students, seniors, deal seekers, as a and merchant, SMEs, and local merchants. Next slide. So, if you take a look at this graph, you will see profitable projects in 2015. $2 billion increase in world market and 1 million just in U.S. market. You can see a cutthroat competitive daily deal market. The all competitors in the deal business model. Next slide. In this page, you can see the competitive landscape, and through business can generate short-term revenue, attract more customers, and customers feel more satisfied because of diversity and control over the deal. And we presented the idea and created a strong in-house development team and raised $60K so far and $50,000 in progress. And we are ready actually to go to the next stage. The prototype is ready. That's it.
Recap what I have gathered from your presentation so far. You trying to introduce some time dimension into the daily deal offers, and to create a daily deal allows merchants to modulate the percentage of discount offered based on the time, whether it's peak hours or dead hours, and you higher discounts when it's in the dead hours and low discounts when it's peak hours. Is that correct?
I play the user. They can design and send their own request to the merchant based on the discount, number of participants, and time of visit. Also, the merchant, they have to sign up in Play Deal and define deal zone. Deal zone is a promotion from a starting date to ending date.
So the consumers create their own groups and design their own discount and send requests to merchants. Is that what you're saying?
User request to this deal zone that's defined by merchant. Play just is a platform and is not involved at all between the send request to the merchant. Merchant, they're free to accept or reject the deal.
I see. That's actually an interesting concept. Have you validated this at all?
Yeah. Actually, around 2 years, we are working on this idea, and we did survey with around 129 end user and around 100 merchants.
But transactions, are you doing transactions on your platform yet?
No, we didn't launch it yet. We have it for pre-launching for next month.
Merchants are you going after? Because there's parts of the daily deals market that's actually working really well. You go to my website, there is a study that we've recently published of a company based in Utah called Steals.com, and mostly in the baby clothing and baby merchandise segment. Two deals a day. So it's a successful company. Their model works very well. They work with kind of less manufacturers and designers. They can offer the merchandise at a remarkably lower rates. It's not exactly group, but it's more day deals. So it's basically a marketing channel for the designers and the manufacturers, and that part of the deal segment is actually working very well. Most people who are using that model are working very well. The model is not working very well, and you're right, where merchants are really not interested in working with such steep discounts are restaurants and bars and all these service businesses where this marketing is not really working. The people don't come back. They're bottom fishers and they're interested in the steep discounts. They're not really interested in actually becoming regular customers, and so the merchants are not getting any advantage of offering this discount. So the fear is where in that, if you're trying to add merchants who are not happy with existing solutions, you need to go to the segment where their awareness of the day deal business model, satisfaction. So you can talk to customers of Groupon and Living Social and so forth and see what kind of houses like that you can get and start transacting. You're going to need to start transacting to see how adoption and how much real business you can do. How long will it take? You said you've been doing research for 2 years. Why are you doing research for 2 years? Why don't you have something out there don't you have an MVP out there, and why are you transacting already?
We had a focus for 2 years on Groupon, and all the opportunity and problem we solved was Groupon, because it's a daily deal industry, and we want to patent this idea too, and also for implementing this website, and especially this website has a main part. It's called Dealer. Dealer. It match user request to the merchant deal zone, and we will notify end user by the deal. It's a power that it's a likelihood of acceptance of the request to the merchant deal zone.
Getting feedback at this point is to basically go out there and test it, because these kinds of concepts are very difficult to validate unless you actually get something out there. And you need consumers to start transacting, otherwise we'll know nothing about whether this business is viable or not.
Because this business model, by the search, found that end users, they are so interested to have a power.
No, that's fine. You already have that information. What's stopping you from getting out into the market?
I have a plan as an aggressive strategy to enter the market. We have a disruptive strategy. We have a plan to launch it from different markets that Groupon, they don't have a focus on it. Actually, we signed a licensing agreement with Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, and Emirates. We have a plan started from different markets, include Middle East. Because in Middle East, another company, it's called...
You're trying to license the platform to other people in those different markets. That's what you're trying to do now.
I did that. Yeah.
Have you made money of that?
$1,000 from Saudi Arabia.
Okay. And
it's in progress.
What are you doing? You're trying to do this platform licensing to raise some seed money for seed cash for launching it in Canada. Is that what you're doing?
No, in Saudi Arabia, it's a very good opportunity for us to, because it's a bargaining, this business model, and the people in Middle East, they know better than the others, about the relation between end user and merchant.
Trying to test the concept in markets like Saudi Arabia, Italy, and Nigeria.
They with me around 6 months, and they went at the same time to this as an aggressive strategy to enter the market.
I see. Strange. Okay.
And we have a plan to do fundraising, started, and to be close to
The bull situation at all. I don't think anybody is going to fund you at this point of the game.
We are waiting only for the launch. After launching,
it's not clear what you're doing. For first and foremost, you're trying to license your technology to a bunch of people in different countries. You haven't launched it in Canada or in the US, so we have no feedback from the market whether the market wants this or not. These kinds of unvalidated concepts don't get funded anymore.
we did validation. We did market.
In the presence of instances, that's not validation. You've done concept focus groups. You need to validate by actually being in the market. And you see deals like that in a crowded space, unless traction, I don't think anybody will fund you.
there is a 15 million in our, they make a profile in our website and they sign up already.
You need to show traction. You need to show that there is a lot of deals happening and there is, a significant uptick in both consumers and merchants joining your platform and transacting and generating business. That's the stage that you're going to have to get to.
My enterprise, this project, it was my enterprise project at McMaster University, and we were our mentors, business mentors, technical mentors, and all of them, they mentioned it can be a generation of daily deals because all of the problems for Groupon and these days, the group.
How much you sell the concept? Concepts do not get funded. The way the market is such that the concepts financing doesn't happen. From concept to a business, you have to put a business up for financing, not a concept up for financing. For all of your, you do not expect that you can fund concepts. You're going to have to get to some level of traction so you can, show something to investors. You have some customers, some understanding of the business model, some understanding of what kind of customer acquisition strategy. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get deals financed. Product from concept to being a business, and then it follows the parameters of what's financeable. There may be opportunities for financing.
Thank you.
In the question about what's the best strategy to monetize in the daily deal segment, the monetization is a commission on the money that you generate for merchants. That's a standard model for the daily deal segment. Available at the moment.
What is fundraising so far? 60K and 6K in progress. I'm going to competition in OC Discovery 2015 in Canada too. And this is all the startups
and get little bits and pieces of money into the business, but if you need to do a round, a formal round from actual investors, that's going to be hard to do without a bit more in it. So you already have a platform working. Why don't you get the platform to start acting and generating revenues?
Because I think we need to do first fundraising to have,
and this and transacting. That's my point. You're trying to put the cart before the horse. Investors fund businesses, they don't fund concepts. That's what I'm telling you. So whether you get that feedback or not is up to you. I'm going to need to move on. Those of you who are trying to fund concepts, please be aware of the fact that concept financing is not happening anymore. This is nowhere 1999. There used to be concept financing in 1999. Now people fund businesses, not concepts.
Next question is targeting customer is correct.
What customer you're targeting? I couldn't hear that.
We have a customer for end user. We have a more focus on users as a student and seniors. They have a flexible schedule to going instead of only weekend to visit the store at rush hour time. They can go during the week at idle times, taking more discount. It's a win situation for merchant and end user at this.
But it's a trying thing, right? If you maybe students can come in groups, but do seniors come in groups? Then you have to go target senior, centers, right?
Yeah.
Not early adopters of technology, so it's not. I wouldn't go for the senior segment. You can try the student segment. I probably would not go for the senior segment.
Okay. Thank you.
Early adopters of technology, and it's going to be hard to get to adopt this kind of a model. Students adopters of technology, they're very technology savvy, they're digital natives, so students will be okay.
Thank you.
And what this is to gather students in a particular college town and do deals with merchants in that college town, and students and merchants of that college town. You can take maybe 10 or 20 college towns and start piloting in each of those college towns and get critical masses on both sides of the table in each of those cases, and could be a good way to bring this into the market. You see?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So some of that flesh out and getting this out there, and then go out for fundraising. A lot of time trying to raise funds. All right, move on to the next segment. So, in a moment, let me ask first on what's happening with the other presenters. What is are here but unable to call in. Until you call in, there's nothing we can do, right? We can't really have you present unless you call in. Problem? So more on to take questions and from the anybody who wants to call in, let public chat and we'll call for you. Make sure your computer on mute and phone muted until I ask for you, but do let us know in public chat if you are calling in. Hand up. Do you have a question? Questions also from the public chat that I see. I think the question, how about when you have a technology that is validated by some potential customers? Good first step for sure. It depends on what technology, what customers. If it's a consumer business, just because consumers say that they're interested is not adequate. The ideal level of validation is paying customers, where consumers are businesses. So get business to a point where you have paying customers is the best point to raise money. And generally is that you should bootstrap until that point as the first few customers. But a very expensive technology development process that's not always viable. And I have to look at your business and advise you more specifically. Says, should entrepreneurs who have developed strong concepts contact prospective future investors to get dialogue started, let them know about launch. You could let them know about launch. If you have relationships, if they're paying attention, be aware of the fact that investors get so many pitches on a continuous basis. Just informing somebody about launch is not going to get you their attention. You're going to have to, if you're going to make a much stronger first impression if you go to investors with traction. Them about launch, if your first contact with an investor is, I have a business, the business has such and such customer level, this is the business level, it's validated, we are making this revenues, this acquire customers, that's a much stronger pitch than just letting them we are launching. I get pitch launches all the time. I basically ignore every single one of them. Harneet has a question. Okay, go ahead, Harneet. I think you're going to have to work with Maureen to figure out what's going wrong, and then we can definitely accommodate you in the next session, next Thursday. Questions, I'll pick them up as I see them coming on. So type in your question. Harneet, go ahead and type in your question. Oh, Harneet is calling in. Okay, fine. That's okay. Are you also calling in? Okay. If you have a question, type it into the chat or call into the phone. Yes.
Hi, you hear me?
Yes. Is it Harneet?
Yes.
All right. From Harneet.
I'm calling from Santa Clara.
Okay. Good.
So it's more that's an idea right now, but there's something I'm working on and have some advice. And the question is that I'm working on using technology to make hiring more efficient. So I have been in the hiring business from last 2-3, and earlier I was doing hiring for junior level positions, which is the range of around 800,000, and now I'm focusing on executive recruitment. My last few years has that this market is highly inefficient. A lot of time gets wasted both on the company side and on the candidate side. I have worked on a couple of things which haven't really worked very well to make this hiring efficient. For one thing which I worked on was outsourcing in hiring, which means that if I have a role, if I call people who are interested, then say of Java developers, and if I get a position of a Java developer, I give these 10 people, and if the referral gets hired, I give them a high commission structure, which is say around 10%, which is $2,000 to $3,000. I assume this has already been implemented before, and it hasn't worked out. So still what to to have.
Space you are trying to navigate is very, very crowded. I can't tell you how many in this forums. I can't tell you how many hiring-related ideas I've seen all the time. So you can do lots of due diligence before you go into come up with something in that space. Make sure you study what has been done before and what experiments have happened, what has failed, and all of that stuff. Because any segment that is that prolific has years and a lot of ideas that have already been tested as well. So, getting into more details and information from you to get into any more details, but my caution on that segment is that it is unbelievably crowded, and you have to be careful in getting a segment like that. Okay?
Yeah. Is there an area you would recommend which focus on, because it's a huge market and I'm still not clear. Actually, I'm still not clear. Where?
There's The Economist that you should read. You may have read it already about how Heydrich is struggling. The title of the article is Heydrich Struggles. Basically, the executive search industry is being slashed from a $600 million a year industry to $300 a year, and large multinationals are hiring people internally to their executive search process because the executives that people are looking for in a lot of industries are on LinkedIn, so people are much more visible and much easier to find, and there's lots of LinkedIn is providing lots of tools to get to them, and a lot of just hiring in-house jobs, and people are not willing to pay the kind of stiff fees that the executive search consultants charge. So if you understand what would enable either in-house recruiters, in-house executive recruiters to do search and process on LinkedIn, or maybe even mid-sized companies who cannot hire in-house executive recruiters but are willing to pay $100,000, $200,000 per search, and how you can sit somewhere between LinkedIn and these people who are trying to save these large fees. There's an opportunity there. I really, do due diligence on it, but this may be something that you should talk to people who are trying to use LinkedIn and see what kind of experience they have, what kind of things they would like to do, and how they might be able to use technology or new processes to aid the process of much lower costs as opposed to these hefty fees.
Great, thanks. That was great advice.
Okay, Syed, your question is India with sufficient customer validation a good place, is good to present to VCs for funding, or do we need to have some sales with us? It depends on what you call customer validation. Developing an enterprise product, for example, and the product is a big product, and you have customers who are to talk to your investors and have given you maybe letters of intent or somehow have engaged with you to talk to possibles, not VCs really, unless the VCs have a seed strategy. The best point to engage with VCs is when you actually have sales, for sure, because it is increasingly moving up in the value. The VC market is increasingly moving up. It wants to see level of traction, and traction means sales. So the faster you can get to actual sales, the better. So we recommend that if you're early stage and you have customers who are really interested in your product, go to get them to give you an advance on this, to develop a product that they're really interested in. Oftentimes, customers are willing to write checks, especially if they've been large prizes. They're often willing to write a check in advance. them a steep discount or whatever, but that early check is the kind of validation that makes you credible with investors, potential investors. Does that coincide? I'm going to answer Saurav's question. I'm developing a one-stop solution for the entire recruitment market, which is a 300 billion market. The solution is going to be disruptive. So after I'm done developing the technology, patent it, and create IP, is that time to pitch in for funding? I do have customers who have shown willingness to buy. It's very, very crowded. I know what you're doing, and it's where you're going to have to convince people with lots of, action and proof points and lots of traction for anybody to want to invest, because it's really and completely crowded. But really, I can't comment unless you have you specifics. I just cannot comment on generic like this. Yeah, present. Book a slot with Maureen and come present, and we can talk about it in more detail. Switch a little bit and tell you more about how to work with the 1M1M program. And also is Sramana D'Souza from Pakistan has brought a bunch of young entrepreneurs to the roundtable today, and some of them we're going to schedule to pitch next week as well. And Senan, thank you very much. It's very encouraging to see what's happening in Pakistan. In the American media, we hear a lot of the Pakistan, especially related to foreign affairs and all kinds of political nightmares and so on and so forth. So it's incredibly refreshing to see constructive entrepreneurial work going on at the grassroots level and ground level in Pakistan. So congratulations, and please keep up. I think it's a much better for a country like Pakistan to focus on its entrepreneurs as opposed to all the muck that happens, high levels of politics and corruption and military and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to switch a little bit for a few minutes and explain to you how to use the 1M program. If you're looking to use the 1M program, let me give you a quick summary of how to use the program. To do that, I want to make a request to you. If you like the program, please refer entrepreneurs to it. We're always looking for entrepreneurs to become aware of our program. 1by1m.com is the website, and you'll find tons and tons of information there. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond, $1 billion in global GDP, and 10 million jobs. Here, the first level of resources are blog. There's a tremendous number of case studies freely available on the blog, and information and analysis of how people are building businesses and so forth. You should make use of the blog as much as possible. The book series is another inexpensive resource. There are 4 volumes of the books available on Amazon, Kindle, Flipkart, and all of these things. You can definitely access any of those, and there's a certain level of synthesis that we provide using those case studies and giving you more information on app and how to do positioning and so forth. Bootstrapping and positioning are 2 cornerstone elements of the 1M1M program. We are focused on those 2 methodologies, and you learn those 2. This site looks like there are tons of videos actually on the site that answer the commonly asked questions. So video FAQs is something that we encourage you to make use of in learning about the program. We have roundtables every week. Thousands of people attended these roundtables, coached thousands of entrepreneurs, And aside from the free roundtables, of course, we also the private roundtables that are part of our premium program. If you free roundtable, the registration links, dates, schedules, everything is available from the blog, from the free public roundtable tab. You should register. And can you stop on Skype? I don't know why you're constantly calling me on Skype, and it's interrupting this call. Then the premium program, $1,000 annual membership fee, and you get extensive methodology guidance to the curriculum. I'll talk about that in more detail in a moment. And then we also offer you business development and strategy consulting as well. Just a second, I'm going to quit out of Skype so that nobody can disturb this call any further. It looks like Sid is trying to use Maureen's Skype and call into my line. That's just not good. So for you also help with financing. We offer you help with media relations. We've learned from working with many of you over such a long period of time, having difficulty getting through to the media. And the media is only willing to cover companies that have big funding announcements. When you get to a funding round, spend probably 24 months in a bootstrapping mode, really building your company, and you have to generate awareness about your product and your, the problem that you're solving, your company, and so forth. And that is a period when media and getting coverage is really important, but we are learning that has been incredibly difficult for entrepreneurs. So we have a lot of clout in the media. We deploy that clout to portfolio companies. So our companies get a lot of media coverage because of our experience and clout in the media. And we have deep relationships in the financing industry, and if you are ready, if and when you're ready for financing, we will be able to introduce you to the investors. The places where you will find some color on the kinds of companies who have reached the $1 million club are on the website. There's a link. This gets you to the $1 million club. You'll find that on the website. We also provide a full ROI analysis of the 1M1M program. Basically, you can get $375,000 plus 5% of equities worth of value from the 1M program if you use it right for a $1,000 annual membership fee. And we give you lots of orientation material on how to use the program effectively. Use the 1M1M self-assessment tool that is available on the blog, on the website as well, and it asks you certain questions that you'll have to answer, especially if you're thinking about a funding round. You must answer these questions to satisfaction. If you don't know how to answer these questions to satisfaction, you're not ready for a funding round. Now, knowledge gaps, if you don't know how to do validation, if you don't know how to do TAM and bottom-up TAM analysis, that we provide from the 1M1M curriculum. However, to access the curriculum, you need to be a member of the 1M1M program. There are also pages where you can find information about the program itself that describes, what we are, how to go about using the program, that you can, video FAQs and so forth. In the curriculum, what we've done is, for the last 7 years, we have developed case studies. Today, the most comprehensive body of early-stage case studies for IT and IT-enabled services businesses. Our focus really is in the IT and IT-enabled services sector. And we have by the largest and the most comprehensive collection of case studies where entrepreneurs have come and shared journeys, shared their learnings with us, and we have captured all that, turned them into case studies, and turned them also into video lectures where we can synthesize what they're telling you, and we also provide the raw case studies. So you, from those entrepreneurs, you have as mentors effectively hundreds of entrepreneurs who have built successful businesses. And it's divided into a core and an elective. In the core, 7 major topics: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. You learn these topics. If you want business, you have those topics. On the inside, we have Web 3.2 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, including data, where we are seeing a lot of activity right now, outsourcing and consulting, mobile and social apps, healthcare, IT, education, gaming. These elective modules. You can access any of the elective modules. In the program, you have free access to everything in the program. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. EBA-based financing, as you've heard me say many times today, you have to bootstrap the early stage to a point where you are in a fundable stage. If you do have the payments and the parameters that fund investors are looking for, you will not succeed in raising funding. And our goal is to always make sure that you cover those pieces. So when you go out to raise funding, you have a successful funding round. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time. I can't guarantee that because investors, have also a lot of things happening on their end. But at least we give you the basics of what the investors are looking for and prepare you to answer the kinds of questions, the kind of issues that you need to have tackled before you go out for a financing round. This page is accessible from the press page on the top right, top navigation bar to the extreme right. And this gives you a flavor of the kind of coverage our premium members are getting through the program. We have access to our, we have extensive presence in social media, and we use that to let you access both our Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn presence. So you can feed messages that promote your product or your service or your company through the channel, and that gives you huge amounts of access. At this moment, my Facebook account has over 20,000 followers, over 16,000 connections on my LinkedIn account. We have over 5,000 likes on the Facebook page. I imagine you have some idea about how these channels work. Twitter, we have over 8,500 followers. So it's a large channel that we give you access to, and you promote yourselves, your businesses through this channel. In our Incubation Radar and Deal Radar series, which investors monitor, a lot of potential customers monitor. So that's another place where, blog has a good 40,000-50,000 readers, unique readers a month, and that's another channel through which we give you coverage and publicity. And SEO rankings, so that also is an added benefit of search engine optimization, being able to drive traffic to your material, your coverage. We have a affiliate program. Those of you who are representing organizations that are interested in building entrepreneurship hubs in various parts of the world, you're most welcome to become a partner of ours. Every week in September, we have free roundtables. September, October, we have free roundtables pretty much every Thursday. Those of you, you can look at my Vision India 2020 book. It has a lot of great ideas that you can use to generate your own ideas and flesh out ideas. It kind of teaches you a technique called visioning. It's a very helpful technique to develop your own ideas. We have an incubator in a box program, which a lot of companies are using right now to get their own incubators off the ground or expand their incubation resources. We're working with SAP, Oracle, Intuit, Microsoft, and a whole bunch of other companies. In any part of the world, if you're looking to set up an incubator, or if you're an incubator that wants to enhance your resources, you're going to partner with us using the Incubator in a Box program. That's on the website. You'll be able to find Incubator description on the website. So we are at the end of the session. We don't have time to do a lot more Q&A, but I'm going to quickly look through what's on the public chat. If you have any other questions quickly, put that in the public chat and I'll try to pick it up and answer them. Anu Tripathi to all participants. Sramana, some questions for 1M by 1M. Do you have regular mentoring sessions for premium members? Yes, we do. We have a similar format, but we have private sessions which are for members only every week. This is post-production, but the revenue model is yet to be proven, validated, redefined. You need to work with your business. I cannot give you in vacuum. You need to learn your business and give you full curriculum material on business goals. So we want you to first study that and then ask questions, and then we can work on your business in a private roundtable as well. You might in your program in similar situation. We constantly work on people's business models and changing business models, and redefining business models and so forth and so on. It's a common issue in any state startup's life, and it's something that we tackle all the time. Is saying that he had some difficulty dialing in, but he succeeded. Followed the process we suggested. Okay, thank you, Rasul. That's good feedback. Anybody else? Questions? We're kind of at the end of the 90 minutes. It's 92 minutes actually. I'll be happy to work on your business if you come and pitch at either public, private roundtable. We will see you next week. If you are looking for a slot to present, please work with Maureen and she will schedule you and book you a slot in one of the upcoming roundtables, and I look forward to working with you there. Everybody, good luck with your businesses and we will see you soon. Folks, by the way, let me just quickly point you to Irina. If you're looking to ask questions specifically on 1M, the best person, and if you want to talk to somebody, the best person to connect with is Irina Patterson. Her Skype is Irina_Patterson. If you scroll up in the public chat, she's put in her phone number, 7630124456. Irina Patterson is her Skype, and her email is irina@1mby1m.com. Okay, always contact Maureen as well to book table slots. All right, today we will see you soon, and bye from 1M1M.